Division lesson number 4 is where we bring long division into the picture. This is a copy of the notes that we took in one of the classes. This is my journal. You are welcome to reference my journal anytime to update your journal, but you should have done this in class as we went along. This is how you have seen division prior with this division sign, but division can also be used using the division house. That is what we are going to call it this year, the division house. And we've also introduced some new vocabulary. The dividend is the number we are dividing. It is always the first number in when it is presented like this. This number goes in the division house. That is the dividend. The number outside the division house, what we call at the door, is called the divisor. That is the number we are dividing into the dividend. The number on top, or the answer we get in our division problem, is called the quotient. We've had sum, difference, and product, and now we have quotient. Quotient is the answer to a division problem. Dividend and divisor get mixed up very frequently, so I ask you guys frequently which one is the dividend, which one is the divisor. I also have it up on a poster on my wall in the classroom. Okay, so I had you guys watch some videos to help you remember. There was the Gangnam style division and also the daddy, mother, sister, brother. Review those as needed so you can help remember the steps of long division. We did a couple of examples. We're going to do some examples on here. This we've done in class, so mostly this video is going to be review. When you are doing a long division, this is the way you should set it up, where you have the dividend in the house, you have the divisor at the door, and then your quotient will be the number that you get up top. I recommend that you write your steps out to the side and check them off as you go along. This is what we did in class. We checked them off, and when we did have a number to bring down, that meant that we were going to be repeating the steps up and along to the start dividing all over again. We're going to start by doing an example with without a remainder, so we can see what that looks like, and then we will do one with a remainder to see what that will look like. Okay, our first example is 85 divided by 5. I'm pretty sure this is one that you guys have seen before, but again, this is just a review over the steps that we need to do. So the first thing we're going to do is set it up in our division house. Okay, the first number is our dividend. That's the one that goes inside the division house. This is our divisor that goes outside the division house. Now when we did practice with the 10 base square cubes, we always started by dividing our tens, and that is what we do here. We start by dividing our 10. So we're going to see how many times does 5 go into 8. Again, we want to do that without going over. So we're going to do 5, 10. Well, 10 is greater than 8, so 5 only goes into 8 once. Now the answer to the division problem always goes on top because they're the ones having the party. The answer to the division, they go on the roof, because they are the VIPs of this problem. Those are the ones we are trying to solve. Those are the ones we're trying to get. So this is the party up here that we are trying to get. So 8 divided by 5 is at least 1, not over. So the next thing we do is multiply, and in fact we're going to write this out to the side, daddy, mother, sister, brother, so we can keep track of our steps. We've done our division, 5 into 8, one time. Now our next is our multiplication. We multiply only the numbers on the outside of the division house. We never multiply these numbers in here. So we have 1 and 5 on the outside. Those are the two numbers we're going to multiply, 5 and 1. And then that gives us 5, and we put that right underneath, making sure to line up in our tens, because we're only working with our tens. Multiplication is done. So our next step is subtraction. We're going to subtract 5 and 8. So 8 minus 5 gives us 3. That's our subtraction. Okay, next is to bring down. So this is the digit we're bringing down. Remember, you only bring down one number at a time. One number at a time. So 5 you bring down. Okay, and since you brought a number down, you start the whole process all over again. So you are always dividing by this 5. This is always the divisor. Okay? So always. Okay? This is always division answer. Quotient. Okay. All right. So 5. Now you're going to look at this as your division because you've already figured out the 5 in here. Now you're going to go 5 into 35, and you can write this just like this. If you don't need to, you don't have to. But now, how many times does 5 go into 35? You're looking at this number as a whole. You're not just looking at 35 into, or 5 into 5. You're looking at 5 into 35. Now, how many times can we do that? We can always refer to our math journal. Okay, 5 into 35. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Hey, that's right on the dot. So how many times does 5 go into 35? 7 times. And the answer to our division problem always goes on top. So the answer here would be 7, lined up with the last digit of this. Okay, so that's our division a second time. Now multiplication is our next one. We've already multiplied the 1, so we're not going to multiply the 1 again. We're going to multiply 7 times 5. 7 times 5 gives us 35. We know that from our math facts. Multiplication is done. Next step, subtraction. We subtract here, and we get 0. Okay, now we're done with subtraction. Bring down. Our last step would be to bring down. We don't have any more numbers to bring down. So we brought down or we checked to bring down. We have nothing else to bring down. We are not looking for a 0 here. We are not looking for necessarily to end on a 0 because we may have remainders. So the goal is to not have any more numbers to bring down for us. Okay? So there is no remainder. There are no more numbers to bring down. Our answer here is 17. We are done. Now what would this process look like with a remainder? So again, 58 divided by 4. You won't always know if there's a remainder. Okay? But it's the same step. Alright, so I'm going to set it up. Division house. This is our dividend. The first number goes inside the division house. The divisor goes at the door. Okay? Daddy, mother, sister, brother. This is the VIP section. This is the always dividing. Okay? Alright, so we start with the tens. 4 goes into 5 how many times? Well, we can count. 4, 8. 8 is bigger than 5, so we got to go back down to 4. 4 times goes into it once. So we put 1 up here, and we've done our division. We check that off. Next is multiplication. We only multiply what's on the outside of the division house. 1 times 4 gives us 4. Multiplication done. Subtraction. We have our subtraction problem set up nice here. We just put in our subtraction sign in our line. 5 minus 4 gives us 1. Okay, subtraction is done. Now we bring down. B is bring down. So we bring down only one number at a time. This 8. Okay, and now we have 18. What we can do, since we brought down, then we start the whole process over again. Now what we can do is, if we want, we can set up another division house to visually see we are dividing 4 into 18. The entire 18, not just 8. And how many times does 4 go into 18? Okay, we can check with our multiplication chart. Find the 4, go across. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. 20 is too much. Let's go back to 16. 4 times. The division goes up, the division answer goes up at the top. Division done. Next is multiplication. We're only multiplying what's on the outside. 4 times 4, that gives us 16. That goes down here. Multiplication done. Next is subtraction. Subtraction's done. Okay, 8 minus 6 is 2. 1 minus 1 is 0. Alright, subtraction is done. And then the last, bring down. Well, we do not have any more numbers to bring down. Okay, and then we're going to check 2. As long as the remainder is less than your divisor, you're good to go. If you end up with 6 here, then you need to rethink your numbers up here. So, we're done. But since we do not have a 0 here, we end up with a remainder here. So our answer ends up being 14 remainder 2.